Hi, Leo. You look very happy today. What are you smiling about? You have been laughing to yourself for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, hi, Chloe. Sorry, I was just thinking about something that happened in the office yesterday. It was with our new colleague, Ben, and our manager, Ms. Evans. It was just a really funny situation.
A funny situation? Now I'm interested. I like a good story, especially on a coffee break. Was it a big problem?
No, not at all. It didn't cause any trouble. In the end, it was just a simple misunderstanding. But the way it happened was hilarious. It really made my afternoon.
That sounds great. I think Ben is a very nice guy. He is always so serious and focused on his work. It's hard to imagine him in a funny situation.
I know. That's what makes it even better. He was trying so hard to be helpful, but he understood things in a completely different way. It was a classic case of miscommunication.
Okay, you have my full attention. Please tell me the story from the beginning. What happened?
All right, so it all started yesterday morning. You know, Ms. Evans had that big presentation for the marketing department at noon, right? She was working on it all week.
Yes, I remember. She seemed a little stressed about it. She wanted everything to be perfect. The presentation was very important for the new project.
Exactly. She was very nervous. And to make things worse, her computer was being very slow and acting strange. She was worried that it might crash and she could lose all her work.
Oh no, that's the worst feeling. When your computer is not reliable, it makes everything more stressful. I hope she saved her work frequently.
She did, but she was still worried. So she decided to ask Ben for help. Ben is quite good with technology, so he seemed like the right person to ask for assistance.
That makes sense. So she went to Ben for technical support. What did she ask him to do?
Well, this is where the misunderstanding started. Miss Evans walked over to Ben's desk. She looked worried and spoke quite quickly. She said, "Ben, I really need you to back me up before this presentation. It's very important."
Back me up. Okay, I think I know what she meant by that. She wanted him to make a copy of her files, right? A digital backup on a hard drive or on the cloud?
You are exactly right. That is what she meant. She wanted a safe, extra copy of her presentation files just in case her computer failed. It was a very sensible request.
It was. It's always a good idea to back up your important files, especially before a big presentation. So, what did Ben say? Did he understand?
Well, he nodded very seriously. He said, "Of course, Miss Evans, you can count on me. I will back you up 100%. He sounded very confident and professional.
He sounded confident, but did he understand the real meaning? The phrasal verb to back someone up can have a few different meanings. I have a feeling he was thinking of a different one.
You are a very good guesser, Chloe. You are absolutely correct. He did not think about computers or files at all. He heard the phrase, "back me up," and interpreted it in a totally different way.
What did he think it meant?
He thought it meant that Miss Evans wanted him to support her during the presentation. You know, to be there in the meeting room with her, to agree with her points, and to help her answer any difficult questions from the audience.
Oh, I see. He thought she was asking for moral support and assistance during the actual talk, not technical support before it. That is a very different request.
It is a completely different request. So while Miss Evans went to a meeting thinking Ben was saving her files,
Ben was at his desk preparing for a totally different task.
This is already getting funny. So, what did Ben do next? How does one prepare to back someone up in a presentation?
Well, he took the job very, very seriously. The first thing he did was ask Miss Evans' assistant for a copy of the presentation slides. He wanted to study the material thoroughly.
He studied the slides? He didn't even touch her computer?
Not at all. He spent the next hour reading every single slide. He was making notes in his notebook. I could see him from my desk. He was highlighting things and writing down key phrases. He was incredibly focused.
Wow. He was really dedicated. What else did he do?
After studying the slides, he started doing his own research online. He was looking for extra data and statistics to support her arguments. He even prepared a list of potential questions that the marketing department might ask, and he wrote down the perfect answers for them.
No way! He was preparing as if he were the co-presenter. He put so much effort into it. He was ready to be the best supporter in the history of presentations.
He certainly was. He was completely prepared to help her. Meanwhile, Miss Evans finished her other meeting and came back to her office. It was about 30 minutes before the big presentation was scheduled to start.
So she probably expected to find a message from Ben saying that all her files were safely backed up.
Exactly. She didn't see a message, so she walked over to Ben's desk. I was getting a coffee, so I heard the whole conversation. She smiled at him and asked, "Hi, Ben. Is it all done? Is the backup complete?"
And what did Ben say? I can only imagine his response.
Ben stood up straight and looked at her with a very serious and confident expression. He said, "Yes, Miss Evans, I am completely ready." He then held up his notebook and said, "I have my notes here and I have researched the key statistics. I am ready to back you up."
Oh my gosh, the look on Miss Evans's face must have been incredible. She must have been so confused.
She was completely baffled. Her smile disappeared. She just stared at his notebook and then back at his face. She said, "Notes? What notes? I asked you to make a backup of my computer files."
And that was the moment. The moment when they both realized there was a huge misunderstanding. What happened then?
Ben's confident expression just melted away. He looked at his notes, then at her, and then back at his notes. You could see the realization slowly dawning on his face. He said, "A computer backup? You mean like copy the files?"
I can just picture it. Poor Ben. He must have felt so embarrassed. He had tried so hard to do a good job.
He was very embarrassed at first. His face turned bright red. He just stood there, speechless, holding his notebook full of research. But then, Miss Evans, after a moment of shock, just started to laugh.
She laughed? That was nice of her. She wasn't angry?
Not at all. It was a genuine, friendly laugh. She said, "Oh, Ben, I am so sorry. My instructions were not clear." When Ben saw that she wasn't angry, he started to laugh too. He looked so relieved. The rest of us in the office, who had been quietly listening, also started to chuckle. It was such a funny and innocent mistake. It was a perfect example of getting your wires crossed.
That is such a relief that she had a good sense of humor about it. But what about the presentation? She still needed to get her files backed up. And she was running out of time.
Yes, the mood changed from funny to a little bit stressful very quickly. Miss Evans looked at the clock and said, "Okay, we have less than 20 minutes. We need to do this now."
So it was a race against time. Did Ben know how to do the computer backup quickly?
He did. Once he understood the actual task, he was very efficient. He said, "Don't worry, Miss Evans, I can do this fast." He grabbed an external hard drive from the IT cabinet and rushed to her office.
I hope her presentation file was not too large. Copying big files can sometimes take a long time.
It was quite a large file with lots of images, so we were all a bit nervous. Ben plugged in the drive and started the file transfer. The progress bar on the screen moved so slowly. We all just stood there watching it, not saying a word. It was a very tense few minutes. Luckily, it finished with about 5 minutes to spare.
Phew, that was close. So she had her backup and she made it to the presentation on time. How did the presentation go?
It went perfectly. Miss Evans is a great speaker, and she did an amazing job. All her hard work paid off. The marketing team was very impressed with her ideas.
That's wonderful news. What happened after the presentation? Did she talk to Ben again?
Yes, later that afternoon, she came over to Ben's desk. She thanked him again for his help with the last-minute file copy, but she also thanked him for his other work.
You mean for all the research he did?
Exactly. She said, "Ben, I also want to thank you for being so willing to support me in the meeting. It shows great team spirit, even if it was a misunderstanding." She even looked at his notes and said his research was excellent.
That was an amazing thing for a manager to do. She turned an embarrassing moment into a positive learning experience for him. It shows that she is a great leader.
It really does. We all learned a valuable lesson that day about the importance of clear communication. Phrasal verbs, in English, can be tricky. It's always good to ask for clarification if you are not 100% sure.
That is an absolutely brilliant story. Thank you so much for sharing it, Leo. It's true that those little embarrassing moments often make the best memories at work.
I agree. It's good to be able to laugh at ourselves. Ben is a great sport about it now. We sometimes joke with him and ask if he's backing up his files or backing up a person.
And I'm sure he is very clear about the difference now. I have made similar mistakes before, especially when I was new to the company and learning all the office jargon.
I think everyone has. It's part of the learning process. These kinds of stories are what make the workplace feel more human and friendly. It's not all just serious work all the time.
You are so right. A little bit of laughter makes the day so much better. It reminds us that we are all just people trying our best, and sometimes we get things a little bit wrong.
Precisely. Anyway, our coffee break is almost over. We should probably get back to our desks. But I'm glad I could share the story and have a good laugh with you.